And I am back. Hello, everybody. My name is Chip Knight. This is my website from prisontoprofessor.com. I am a convicted marijuana trafficker that spent 6 years, 3 months, and 4 days in the Arizona Department of Corrections as inmate number 93602. And today I want to talk about my last day in prison. So 6 years, 3 months, and 4 days later, I am being released. I got the heads up the day before, so I had time to get rid of, to sell my TV and fan and radio. And I did not have any problem sleeping that last night in prison, which was shocking. And I think I was too excited for breakfast, and it was right around 9 a.m. that I was called up front to go home, to leave prison. And nobody was there to walk me up front, which kind of hurt my feelings, because I had walked a few guys to the front gate to say goodbye. It was like as soon as everybody found out I was leaving the next day, they all started to ignore me. And I know that something psychological about that. They don't want to be reminded that someone else is going home. So I have just a cardboard box of a few things I'm taking home with me. And I go up front and I see there's a van, cargo van. And I am to put my box in the back of it. So I go to the back of the van, they open up the door, I put my stuff in there, and then they tell me I have to cuff up. You got to cuff up. And I thought, I told the prison guard, I said, I'm going home. What do you think I'm going to do? Try to escape from my release? He said, those are the rules, man. You got to cuff up. And it wasn't just having handcuffs put on you. You had to get handcuffs put on. Then they put a belly chain on you that goes around your waist. And then they attach the handcuffs to the belly chain. And then they put leg irons on. I just was astonished. That last little indignation before you leave. So I got all cuffed up, and when I went to get into the prison van, I noticed, there were 5 guys in there. 3 bench seats. There were two, and a single up front. So I sat up front with and there was no chit-chat going on. And we got on our way. And the first stop we made was to the state mental hospital, which was curious. And after we were there for a few minutes waiting, the guards got out to check something, and then they pulled this kid sitting next to me. They pulled him off. Now, one of the things that Arizona, which resides in the 9th Circuit for federal appeals, there had been a ruling out of the 9th Circuit. There had been a ruling out of the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals allowing for prison systems in states that if you have a sex offender that has finished his sentence and you still believe him to be a threat to society, you can keep him until you no longer deem him a threat. But the deal was that you had to take this person from the state prison after their sentence expired. You had to take them to the state mental hospital. And when they pulled this kid off, who looked to be in his mid-20s, he looked like the typical trailer trash, one of those mullet haircuts. He looked like he was missing a chromosome, which a lot of times these sex offenders, they had that look about them. So they pull this kid off, and then he's being booked into the state mental hospital. It takes a few minutes for that, and while we're sitting in the van, the 5 of us remaining, and while we were sitting in the prison van, waiting for this kid to get booked in so we could be on our way, one of the convicts sitting behind me. These were 4 garden variety convicts, soon to be ex-cons. Well, one of them started chanting, "In the spoon by noon, in the spoon by noon, in the spoon by noon." And then one of the other guys joined in on them, and before long, all 4 of them were sitting in the back of that prison van on their way to be released, chanting, "In the spoon by noon." I mean, how do you successfully navigate parole if the first thing you're going to do when you get released is get some heroin? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So after this kid got booked into the state mental hospital, the prison guards come back, they get in, and we are on the way. And the next stop was just to an intersection. And this is how it worked for the 4 guys behind me. Each of them gave an intersection where they wanted to be released at. We showed up to the first intersection and pulled into this 7-Eleven or convenience store, whatever. There was no one there to meet the guy. There was, we weren't dropping him off at his family's house or to a condo or an apartment. There was nobody waiting for him. It's just this convict being released from prison. You step out of that prison van and you got all these shackles on. They unshackle you and it's, have a nice day. Then the next stop, same thing. No family, no friends, no greeting, no welcome. And then after, these last 4 guys sitting behind me, after they were all dropped off, it was just me. And we were on our way to Sky Harbor Airport. The terms of my parole, my release, is that I had to show up, I had to have a airline ticket, nonstop, one way from Sky Harbor to Chicago. So I had that in my shirt pocket. And in my back pocket, I've got my 2 felony convictions for marijuana. And as we are en route to Sky Harbor, the guard sitting in the passenger seat turns around and asked me, he said, "So, who the fuck are you?" I'm like, baffled by the question because clearly you've got my paperwork in your lap. And I said, "What do you mean by that?" And he said, "Well, what are you in prison for?" And I said, "Marijuana. I'm a convicted marijuana trafficker." And the guard sitting in the passenger seat immediately, said, "That's bullshit, man." I asked him, I said, "What makes you think that's not true?" He said, "Because the orders we were given on how to deal with you." Now, I've been doing this for 6 months, and the guy driving's been doing it for a year. We've never been given these specific orders. And I said, "What orders?" He said, "We are to walk you to the door of the aircraft with sidearms, with our guns. We're to walk you to the door of the aircraft and make sure you get on, and we cannot leave the airport until your airplane takes off." So, the question is, who are you? Why are we giving these orders? And I didn't know how to respond to them. I just said, "I'm a marijuana trafficker. I don't know what to tell you." So eventually we pull up to Sky Harbor and we, illegally park down in the baggage pickup. And they let me out in my shackles, and immediately a crowd gathers around as they unshackle me. And the looks on these people's faces was like, who is this guy? Is this Hannibal Lecter? Are we witnessing the release of Hannibal Lecter? So with my shackles off, we proceeded into the airport, went up to the ticket counter, showed them the ticket. Then the armed guards, walked me up to the door of the aircraft. And I left. And one of the things that made the flight a long flight was the guard asked me, he said, "Well, Are they going to arrest you when you get to Chicago? I mean, do you have other charges? I mean, is that why we're giving these orders? Make sure he gets to the airport? And I said, I don't think. I'm not aware of anything. And wouldn't that just be the worst thing ever? To do 6 years and then get out and then get another charge, which they could have charged you 6 years ago. You could have done that time together. But am I going to be charged? Are they going to arrest me? The answer was no. They were not going to arrest me. I was picked up by my sister Bonnie. And my life started over again after that. And I need to stop here for now. Once again, my name is Chip Knight, and this is my website, FromPrisonToProfessor.com. Thanks for listening. Ciao.